listening to the DeCesare Group Podcast. Welcome back. I'm your host, Jim DeCesare, and I'm glad you're here. My guest today is Stanke, a recent graduate of the University of Louisville and the founder of Easyr Jobs, a fast-growing job discovery platform changing the way people find work across Louisville, Bowling Green, Nashville, and Lexington. After experiencing the frustration of applying to hundreds of ghost jobs on sites like Indeed, Dylan decided to build the solution he wished existed, a platform that manually verifies every single job listing so users only see real, active, and truly local opportunities. In just a few short months, Easyr has grown to thousands of users, driven thousands of applications, achieved over 100% month-over-month growth, and earned attention from multiple media outlets. Today, we're talking about entrepreneurship, solving real-world problems, and how one founder turned personal frustration into a platform that's helping thousands navigate the job market with confidence. Here's my conversation with Dylan Stanke. Dylan, welcome to the DeCesare Group Podcast.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
We're so excited to have you here and talk about Easyr Jobs.
Yes, sir.
And so you built Easyr because of your own business frustration with ghost jobs, which is a term I want you to define here in a second. Mm-hmm. But what was the breaking point that made you stop complaining about the problem and decide to build a solution?
I cannot lie to you. I think it was about 2 months after graduation. I graduated from the University of Louisville in December of 25. It was one evening upon looking for work. I used Indeed, ZipRecruiter, the ones that most people tend to use. Yeah. And my mom was on the other side of me, and I just had to tell her after about 2 hours of looking for work. I saw this job listing for Costco in Bowling Green. I mean, the both of us live in Bowling Green. Do you know of a Costco here in Bowling Green?
I'm not aware of one yet.
That's what I'm saying. And so it's in Nashville, the one that, it was showing a job listing for. And so there's plenty of examples like that, or jobs that, are not even existent, kind of like Aldi. It'll show it's hiring on Indeed or ZipRecruiter. You actually go onto the actual ATS for Aldi, and you see that the job doesn't exist. So
that's a ghost job.
Yes, a ghost job. I mean, there's many different definitions. Some companies can put stuff out there to make it seem like they're hiring. They're not. A ghost job could be, super inactive, or it could just be non-existent or non-local. Mm-hmm. Just hence the name a ghost job, because if it's not local, then it doesn't pertain to you. It doesn't matter. So a ghost job can be many things. Yeah.
So you decided to do something about this and create your own platform. Explain how how you went through that process of creating a platform and how it all works.
100%. So I would say I don't necessarily come from a very native developing background. It's more entrepreneurship and business. So this new term that keeps going around is called vibe coding. Basically, you're utilizing AI to help develop something on the back end or the front end. And so for me, I do have front end experience, meaning like I'm able to design like the interfaces for different applications, for different websites, platforms. So that's what I did. That was the resources that I had at my disposal. Mm-hmm. And then I was able to use AI to actually develop the back end. So the hosting, the actual, the functionality of it, so that when you click on the job, something actually happens. So I utilized AI for the back end, and beside that, AI is not used for anything else. So it took me a week, but
So when you're using AI, I've got several questions here. What platform do you use when you're creating something like this?
The best one that I've been using is called Lovable. I think it's a company out of Sweden, but they're huge. I mean, they're huge in what they do. I think they're maybe Series B, and just popping off when it comes to AI development.
Okay. Yes, and it's called, and is that a web platform too?
Yeah, it's a web platform, and they just released a mobile application for it. So It's called Lovable, and they definitely been really awesome to help build this platform for me.
So do you take like your ideas and you feed it in there and say, I want to do this, that, or the other?
You can. It has a generative AI prompt that allows you to do what you had just mentioned. But for me, I had already knew what I wanted, so it kind of wasn't like, hey, just have this idea, build it. It was, hey, there's all these different functions that I'm looking for. Let's build it together. And I kind of had like wireframes and different things in mind that I wanted to build a real prompt. So that was how it was able to come to fruition.
So how do you get the job listings?
Mm-hmm. So when it first started, the best way that I had been getting accurate and local job listings, I would just search up different companies. Like, for instance, let's say I know Walmart is in Bowling Green, so I'd look up Walmart. I go to their careers page, and I look and see if they have any jobs hiring. I would try to find when the date posted was, and I would basically just try to ensure and make sure that these jobs actually exist, that they were local also. and then I would end up aggregating those and then putting them on my job site. And a couple other, job boards, they end up doing a similar thing, except they do scraping. So that's kind of why they're getting bottom of the barrel, because when you use a bots to scrape or to be able to basically it's automating, getting this information, putting it on your site, you're not able to bypass the reCAPTCHAs or the firewalls to prove that you're a human. And that's something that I've noticed. This stuff has to be done manually. And that's why Indeed, ZipRecruiter, they are facing this big issue about ghost jobs. It's because the way that they aggregate these listings, it's not manual. So it's not hyper-local. So that's why you're seeing a lot of scrap there. But yeah, that's usually the way that I end up finding the jobs. And now we've been bringing on, I say we, startup term I always like to use. I've been bringing on partners. Just signed a first enterprise partner in the UK, and they're bringing a lot of jobs over here. And then I'm trying to lock down a couple more enterprises that are here. So yeah.
So if someone sees a job listing on Easyr, Easyr.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're fine.
For those listening, it's EASYR.
Yes, sir.
But it's Easyr. It's a little play on words. And I like it. Yeah.
I appreciate it.
So do you, like every job listing that's on there, you manually put in?
Yes, sir. Every single one. It is as tedious as it can be. And the other thing is that I try to ensure that if there is pay listed on there, that I find accurate pay. So I just because I know that about 50% in some articles that I've seen, people want to be able to see salary, and I understand it. I'm one of those people too.
Yeah.
So if it's provided, I'll make sure to show it to you.
So how many listings do you have right now?
As of right now, it's about 300, manually verified by me, and that's across all 4 cities. And then I have about, I'd say, 1,100 partner jobs that are basically on the partners tab. And and those are they can't all be manually verified by me. So I always make sure that I put disclaimers like this isn't as the same verified quality as mine. That's basically it.
So how do you make money?
Make money by a couple ways. One is a cost per click, which is how I make the majority of money for now. Basically, if someone clicks on one of the partner jobs, they read the description and they end up hitting the apply button or the learn more button. I get paid off that click.
Okay.
And then the other way, and it's kind of, I would say, my more preferred way, basically I sign contractor agreements or just agreements in general to be a provider of basically like job advertising services to an enterprise. So let's say I was able to get in contact with, I don't know, let's just say Houchins.
Yeah.
And I'm speaking with Houchins. I'm saying, hey, I want to be able to, to show these jobs off for you guys. Would you let me do it for a certain amount of money? I charge about $39 for 14 weeks and then $49 for 30 days. And then if they say yes, then we go straight ahead. But so those 2 ways, so basically a flat rate, a per job, listing, and then the other way is a cost per click.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Well, so it is, and I know a lot of people go, how do people make money off an application?
It has to be the question you have to ask. I mean, we're not here to, at the end of the day, I don't think anyone's trying to do a business essentially for free. So it makes sense, and I appreciate it. Yeah.
So since you started, back in March?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you've had over 100% month-over-month growth in just, a few short months. What's been the biggest driver of that traction, and what surprised you most about scaling so quickly?
Of course. I would say the biggest one probably has been just grassroots levels of marketing. So probably, different, like putting out signs, some guerrilla marketing on campus. I originally started at WKU, and I think that helped a lot because when it comes to something that's so, if I had just went full guns blazing, trying to make this just for the general population, for everyone in Bowling Green, I don't think it would have gotten far. But because I used and utilized my background as a 20-year-old recent college grad, and I went to WKU where I'm basically local at, and just heavily marketed there, used my network there, I think I was able to word of mouth just continue to expand. And then from there, I'd made some social media clips. They went mini viral. I think in total all of my social media's at 70,000 views. And so I would just say doing that. And then, of course, who can forget, I think media has helped a lot, too. Getting on the news. Some might say it's antiquated. I would beg to differ because each company, there's a different distribution method for each one. I originally thought it was going to be a TikTok sponsorship. So I'm spending, a couple $100 seeing, hey, is this going to blow up for me if I get this one influencer? And it didn't. And I think that there's several instances where I'm seeing a marketing tactic where it worked for someone, but it doesn't necessarily work for me. And so I would say the two biggest ones have easily been grassroots and media. And also word of mouth, of course.
Yeah, you got a lot of media coverage a couple months ago.
Sure. I mean, a couple weeks ago. I wouldn't even say months ago.
Yeah. Not that long ago. WBKO, Daily News do something. I can't remember.
I've been trying to get in contact with him.
Yeah.
I'm shocked.
We'll give you Joe Emmel's phone number.
I wouldn't mind it. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And then also WNKY.
Yeah.
Recently Louisville Business Journal, and then Lexington 18 also.
Awesome.
So
and of course the Business Journal is a big one for the business community. So
for sure,
people all over the state are looking at that, and
for
Southern
sure.
Indiana. Are you having employers call you, reaching out to you now?
Yeah, I'm having a few. It's not as much as I'd like it to be yet, but I do see this, this growing so much more. So we'll just have to see. I mean, it just surpassed 7,000 users about 2 days ago, and so yeah, not too shabby. I think we'll be getting there.
That's fantastic.
Thank you.
So as a recent college graduate, you're building a company while many of your peers are still looking for a job. Has being so close to the problem and the audience given you an advantage as a founder of Easyr? Of
course. I mean, I can't say it hasn't. It definitely has helped. And I think, again, just the fact that it was kind of the perfect alignment there where I wanted it to go straight out the gates targeting college students in WKU. I think that helped grow it to a point where the brand on a micro level has been established. And from there, I can kind of just expand out to not just college students, but high schoolers, to people who are 30 and up, or to people who are recent grads or in their aged. So, yeah, I would say it definitely has helped give me an edge and give me a voice. And so, yeah, I would definitely say it's helped, no doubt.
What kind of success rate have you seen with people actually getting the jobs?
When it comes to something like that, to be honest, it's not been the biggest, I guess, request that I'm asking people, because at the end of the day, I'm fielding so many requests from all across the board. I mean, some emails I get are saying, hey, I'm from Indianapolis, I'm from Cincinnati, I'm from Chattanooga. When can you bring this over to where we're at? Or some, I can't even lie, have just straight, instead of using the actual platform, they will just straight up ask me, can you help me find jobs? And so I'm a nice guy. I'm like, okay, I'll do a couple searches for you and see what I can find, best suits you, almost like a staffing agency type, request. And so I would say for me, I don't know if I necessarily have heard from anyone yet. Hey, I end up finding this, just because that whole pipeline of tracking is so difficult and so tedious at this stage right now. I mean, I don't know if I have the infrastructure to chase that, but I have heard just a lot of people finding value in it, because at the end of the day, I don't know if what the mission of Easyr is to, guarantee someone that job, because that's not on me. For me, my mission is to make sure that you have the best real and local job opportunities that you can visually see with your eyes in front of you, and that it doesn't waste time. And so I think that on that value, I'm achieving it. Yeah.
And how do you know when a job has been filled and you can take it down from your...
A couple ways. The biggest way, and you have to hear me on that, because some take it as like a whole, like 3-point check system in a sense. The biggest way for me is just verifying on the applicant tracking system for a website or for a company. So some companies use, different services like Workday or Oracle to host their jobs and host their resumes and to apply to. So for me, if I have a daily check and I see that there's a 404 page, or this has already been filled, or this is an active page that shows up, that's my first instance. Okay, I know this isn't active anymore. And a couple other ways I like to do it too, when I can afford to, is really just knowing of the company, like the company's reputation itself. Sometimes I know that this company does it in batches where they take the job down within 28 days, so I can do that. Others might be emailing or actually calling if I can get a hold of the recruiters themselves. So, but that doesn't happen too often, as much as I like. But the goal, and what I'm starting to see now with these partner jobs, is that I'm able to hold these companies to a standard that I'm putting. The second that you fill this job or you take it down, you need to let me know. Otherwise, you're in breach of contract. So I think that the more companies I get on here, that's just going to make it so streamlined, and that's just going to change the name of the game.
Are you working with any of the SHRM organizations and getting in with them, the human resources groups that are located throughout the region?
I have not been working with those. No.
Oh, I'm going to connect you with some folks. Okay,
please.
You go back and listen to our Mid-South SHRM podcast.
Okay.
Of course, that's an organization that they have a group here in Bowling Green. They have a group in Franklin, and it's all the HR professionals from the different industries and manufacturers, and they get together and collaborate on ideas, and I think that'd be a great resource for you.
Please, yes. Put
all
me
right.
on. Thank you.
So, talk about the bigger vision for Easyr. Are you building you're building a better local job board, but are you seeing that becoming something more larger in the future? Because you come across as someone who's always thinking ahead a little bit. What's your grand vision?
I would say to be as prudent as I could possibly be. I'm thinking of seeing Easyr as a parent company, at kind of as like how Meta is to there's Facebook, there's WhatsApp, etc. I would really just like to get in the whole space of just like jobs in general, like from basically helping someone look for an active job, a real one. And then from there, taking them through maybe if they need resume help, having services like that. And maybe networking too. I mean, I know that, there's some services out there, platforms, we hear LinkedIn, et cetera. That's how you and I reached out, or had been able to talk with each other. But I think that there's just so many more innovations to come because they don't always have to be, and reinventing the wheel. Sometimes they can just be a little tweak that really does make the user experience better, and it just transforms. So I think for now, my goal is to just keep, getting more of that market that I know that Indeed or ZipRecruiter has, and kind of being the best supplement I can be to them. Because I know not now, not in a year, is this going to replace Indeed. Yeah. Now, if it does, that would be very well timed to play this back. But if it most likely doesn't, then I just want to be the best supplement I can be. So for now, I'm just trying to do the best I can in this market. But seeing ahead, I see it just as a whole ecosystem of job solutions for job seekers.
Going back to, you doing the day-to-day work of this. What's a day look like for you?
A day looks like waking up at about 6:30, 7 o'clock. Obviously some coffee, definitely some prayer, trying to just ask Jesus to help me on this. And then I would say usually it's just email outreach or just like fielding email inquiries. And then after that, I would say checking for jobs. So there's so many partner jobs, but the priority are the manual verified ones, and I don't get paid on those, but I know that's what people come for. Yeah. So I definitely check those first. And just making sure that those are all good. That takes about a couple hours, and then after that, I do my best to be on the lookout for new jobs. Of course, I have to purposely seek these jobs and find them. And Bowling Green's a small, city relative. Yeah. And I don't want, there to be such an over quantity of them and it sacrificing the quality. So when there's new jobs, I post new jobs. And then I'd say after that, I'm usually on a couple calls. So sometimes it's being on a show or being on a podcast like I am with you, or I'm working with someone else on something, maybe a future partnership. And usually the rest of the day goes to sales calls, trying to get more companies on board. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, I mean, that's the goal here, is to have that ecosystem where, companies are able to put jobs on here. It's bringing more people. The network effects is showing there. But at the same time, I'm able to hold them to a higher standard. And that's just correcting the market there. So, yeah.
So are you working like remotely from your home, or do you have an office space, or
no office space, just remotely from my home? I put in about 55 hours a week.
55 hours a week.
Yes. I'm crazy about it.
That's all?
Yeah, I know. But
that's a good solid week right there.
It sure is, especially when you're not, really getting too much out of it. But and I know there's a lot of value.
Yeah, and I know. I mean, as a small business owner, you're working every day almost.
Yep.
So
every day.
Try to take a Sunday off here and there, but there's something that's always needs your attention.
For sure. And I truly see it, growing. And I know the goal is to make, revenue, and it is revenue generating, but I see it trying to raise venture capital. just because it's something that I've always thought, was a passion of mine. First off, I really wanted to get into the VC space before any of this.
Yeah.
But I definitely see this as raising a pre-seed round at the minimum, because we're on, at this point, Easyr's on the higher end of a pre-seed round. We have the metrics at this point, and there's also revenue being generated, and the product is built, which is way more than what most pre-seeds will end up being. So I would say kind of taking it from there, having a first hire or two, where my weaknesses might be, and then kind of just trying to grow rapidly. Because at the end of the day, there's not too much friction when it comes to this in the sense of a barrier to entry for people. All you have to do is just type in a website link, or just literally search up Easyr or Easyr Jobs. You don't have to download an app. You don't have to make an account. You can if you want, but you don't have to. And so I think that is a big, big plus for a lot of people getting on this.
So as a young entrepreneur, what was your degree in at U of L?
It was in economics.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So it kind of fits in.
Yeah. That, to be honest, if I could...
You had some business classes too and all.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, definitely had some business classes. Yes, sir.
What's been the biggest surprise for you in starting the business end of it? Not just creating your product or your service, but developing your business. Because there's a lot that goes into it. I mean, creating the LLC, having insurance and
I can't lie. The LLC, especially after they recently redid the gateway for that on the Kentucky One Stop portal, because I had an LLC when I was younger, so I remembered it a lot differently. That was kind of just locating the articles of organization, etc., was a little bit of a nuisance, but I would say that's just such a minimal part of it. I mean, that's the back of my mind.
Yeah.
Because first, before I even started an LLC, I needed to test that this actually worked. Before I spent money on an LLC, before I opened up a business bank account, whatever. And I would say the thing that's caught me most off guard is probably just the distribution method. It's something I like to say a lot, but I'd say you could have the cure to cancer, and yet somehow it still wouldn't spread like wildfire. You still have to find a distribution method for that. And so I would say the same thing here. I mean, so many people go through, like the job searching process, looking for work. I mean, annually, I think it's 12 million unemployed Americans or something along those lines. And people even who are employed are still looking for work, if they want to switch a job, etc. And then, of course, you have the international markets. And then I think the number goes from 30 to 60%, something along those lines, of people who are, tired with the job-seeking tools that are out there. And then, of course, add in the fact that you're probably in one of the worst job markets we've had in a while. I mean, since 2020, it's been pretty bad. I mean, I would just say what I'm doing right now, it seems like it'd be the biggest value to people. Everyone would just be jumping on it. And that's kind of a truth I've had to learn, is that everyone, can and does and wants to use this, but they have to know about it first. And so you have to get that name out there. So that's probably been the trickiest thing for me.
I know with a lot of our clients, because we do social media and PR for 20 or so clients, and occasionally they'll say we need to get a job posting on Instagram and Facebook, LinkedIn, etc. And I can't tell you how many times I've heard any one of those clients talk about their frustrations with those name brand job platforms that you've mentioned throughout this podcast. So, knowing that there's something out there that's different, that is verified. And I think that's the key word. These listings are verified, and they're real jobs. They're not, almost bait and switch, like, hey, come work for Costco in Bowling Green. Well, we really meant Nashville, but you're close enough.
Yeah, close enough. And to that point, I'd like to add that a big thing that makes this different is definitely the interface too, and how it works. And it's as simple as when you go on it, there's some filters, but you're going to see the job, the job pay if it's there. You're going to see the title, the location, and then it's as simple as if you want to learn more, you just hit the blue link, and it takes you straight to the source. So if you do want to apply, you're already there. You don't have to go hunt for it. And then if you just want to learn more, there's no mistranslation. You're seeing exactly what the job description is about.
Yeah.
And so I think that the process like that helps a lot of people. It saves them time, because at the end of the day, I mean, I remember when I would look for work, I would try to find some of the jobs I was looking for, and then I'd see that pay, I'd see that title, and then I would just try to find out more. My heart is racing. Oh my gosh, this might be the opportunity. Like God might be calling me to this.
Perfect.
Sounds perfect. Yeah. And then so you go on it, and you search up the company, you try to hustle and find that careers page. You have to type in the zip code, all this other stuff, whatever, and then you find out it doesn't exist. And so I think that trying to alleviate that big issue, because it's a real thing, it's a psychological thing. It's similar to like why don't companies charge a dollar, instead they charge like 99 cents. I'm just trying to help the psychological side of things, make it easier, make it smoother. Hence the name, Easyr. And so, yeah. And also, a lot of companies, especially Indeed, they overcharge the absolute heck out of companies, especially on the pay-per-click model, just because when these companies end up filling the job and they might forget, or they send over that information to Indeed, they don't do it fast enough. Indeed keeps that job open, whether it's filled or not. And so they're still going to, invoice you so much money. And that's kind of their whole spiel, is how can we make, that $1 billion of annual revenue, which they do annually, consistently.
You'll get there in time.
Well, to be honest, I really want to get there with integrity and with, keeping the morals, because you could make $1 billion, by just being a very, I don't know what other better word other than these sketchy, shady, shisty, I guess, if you want. But yeah, I want to do it the right way.
Yeah, I teach in the business college at WKU occasionally, and I always tell my students, and I mentioned this on a previous podcast when we had Dr. Trawick on, I don't care how you get the work done. I don't care when you do it. Mm-hmm. As long as it's legal and ethical.
Legal and ethical. Yeah, I mean,
you cover those two things, you're going to be fine.
100%. Yeah. I could not. Yeah, I agree.
What's one thing most people misunderstand about today's job market, and what should job seekers be doing differently right now as you're getting into this and learning how people go after positions?
Yes, I would say, I don't know how this will come across. I would say, I'll answer the second part of that question. The best thing you could do for yourself as a job seeker, especially if you're a recent grad or just in general, don't just limit yourself to Indeed. Don't just limit yourself to one thing. Don't just limit yourself to Easyr, use a plethora of platforms. Again, I mean, even if this one day takes over something as big as Indeed, I mean, it's never going to have all of the jobs. I mean, I know that Indeed isn't perfect, or that some of the other job boards or job discovery platforms, which is what I call myself, or my platform, I know they're not all perfect, but I mean, there's still some diamonds in the rough there. And even using your networking platforms, like if you have a LinkedIn account, if you have a circle or a sphere of influence, I mean, go out there, just try to see, even utilizing, especially if you come from a college. Try to see if the alumni center has basically a works page. See if they have any jobs that are open. One place I tend to tell people to stay away from is Handshake. I mean, it's just so antiquated, and they're honestly moving away from jobs and more into AI and AI services for companies. Mm-hmm. But I would say, don't just limit yourself to one platform. Use a few, and that is the best way that you'll be able to find. Again, they're not always going to be verified like what I'm doing, but you'll at least expose yourself to companies that hired in the past, and maybe that can help, think about that, in the future. And then to answer the first question, I would say the biggest misconception is that it's a simple thing looking for a job. It isn't. It's so tough. And a second misconception is that it's an okay job market. It's not. I mean, from someone with an economics background, I would say if we were to look at it from a supply and demand chart, or my professors always taught me demand and supply. You're going to notice that right now with, entry-level grads, the supply of them is rising. I mean, now we're starting to see so much more people go to college. And then, of course, you have a lot of people who went to better schools, who have so much experience, mid-level engineers, et cetera, getting laid off with these tech layoffs, et cetera. And then, of course, the demand for entry-level employees is just decreasing. And employees in general, because now you have AI, and the demand of that is rising and at a rapid pace. And that just causes that surplus right there. And that surplus just harms so many people in this job market today. And so I've heard numbers that, it's been the worst job market since 2020, worst job market since 2008. And for a lot of that, I'd probably say it's, pretty true for a good majority. But I would just say the biggest misconception of all, just putting that all together, is that it's just an easy job market. It's not, so there has to be solutions out there that make it easier. Again, hence the name. Yeah.
Do you ever envision a point with Easyr that maybe you have a a page on there with where people can put their resumes and people who are looking for jobs that maybe employers can seek them out.
Yes. In fact, actually, off of a recent sales call that I was on with an enterprise, they had been asking me to do that and if we would have it. Not necessarily to do it, but if we would have it in the future. And the answer is yes. I definitely see that being as a way to expand. Because I know for a decent majority, there's people who are out there who, put their resumes up, and there's recruiters that will reach out to them, like legitimate recruiters.
Yeah.
And I can't say that's something that I would disagree with. I have to be able to do that for the betterment of people. I think that's going to be a big way to help not just companies hire faster and better, but for people too who might just want to wake up one day and see that they have a interview request scheduled on their behalf. So we'll have to see, but I definitely see that as a way to expand. Yes, sir.
Well, it sounds like you've hit on something here that is going to be very helpful. Mm-hmm. In Bowling Green, Warren County, I think at any given time there's 6,000 open positions, and we're the fastest growing community in the state. We're going to by 2050 we're going to double the size of Bowling Green. Mm-hmm. So there's great opportunity here, and it sounds like you've latched onto something that's going to be very helpful for our employers and job seekers. And so, sure. Any final words?
Probably not. I guess if I did have to add one, it would just be, hey, if you really are tired of just looking for work with the current solutions out there, I built this for you. You should check out what it is that I built. There's a lot of people who are getting value out of it. It's not perfect, but one day it will be. And and if you're an employer, I wouldn't mind to have a conversation with you. I would definitely help you out there. So
fantastic. Well, great sales pitch. And we'll put a link to your website in our show notes.
Thank you.
Dylan Stanke, thanks for being on the DeCesare Group Podcast.
Of course. Have a blessed one, everyone. Thank you.
Thanks again to Dylan Stanke, founder of Easyr Jobs, for joining us this week on the DeCesare Group Podcast, and thank you for checking us out. If you like what you hear, share it with a friend, and don't forget to subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. Leave us a review and share your feedback with us. You can also follow the DeCesare Group across all of our social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, X, and YouTube. And you could subscribe to our weekly newsletter, SoKi Economic Development and Business News, by going to our website, thedecesaregroup.com. The DeCesare Group Podcast is produced by the DeCesare Group, a public relations and consulting firm based in Bowling Green, Kentucky. Our engineer is Justin DeCesare, with content contributions from Brooke Mattingly. The DeCesare Group Podcast is researched by Amy DeCesare. I'm Jim DeCesare, inviting you to join us again next time for the DeCesare Group Podcast.